Okay, let's talk TV Golden Globe nominations. If you're wanting our film discussion, it's on a separate video chat. We've got Daniel Montgomery here, Marcus Dixon, and I'm Chris Beachum. And nominations came out on Thursday morning if you're watching this on a different day. And as we expected, they love new shows. They love first-year shows and performers. And they will kick out a winner in a heartbeat just to put that in the new stuff. So, See You Later, The Affair, and Ruth Wilson. Kevin Spacey finally got his first Globe after, I think, 8 or 9 nominations last year. He's no longer around. Jeffrey Tambor, be thrilled and honored that you're back after winning last year. Who are some other snubs, Daniel, when you wrote your article today?
Oh, let's see. It was interesting. Game of Thrones got in for Best Drama Series, but after that huge sweep at the Emmys, I would have thought it would have gotten at least Dinklage back in, or one or both. Actually, I thought it was going to get 4 supporting nominations, but my predictions were good. So I thought Kit Harington, he had a lot of buzz this year, and Amelia Clarke is the kind of sexy young star they like, and
which is the very reason why I put the prediction center is up and running. We've already made our picks. I put Game of Thrones in 5th. If it couldn't get any actors in among these other brand new shows, I can't see it winning.
Yeah, I have them in 4th. I agree with you. It shouldn't have been that hard to get, especially they got Peter Dinklage in at SAG, where they only have one acting category with only 5 people in it across all dramas. He got in there. He couldn't get in here. I don't see Game of Thrones happening for Best Drama Series this year. Maybe they'll catch up with it like Breaking Bad in a couple of years down the line.
Any other big snubs on your mind?
Bessie not getting into Best Movie or Limited Series is kind of a surprise. I mean, that didn't seem like a hugely crowded field for it not to get in there. And Queen Latifah did get in, but but we'll talk about this later. Her chances might be greatly affected by the fact that Bessie did not get into Best Movie or Limited Series. One thing, it's not like a huge shocking snub, but of all, we know how star and celebrity obsessed that the Golden Globes often are. The SAG Awards picked Nicole Kidman for Grace of Monaco, and even the Golden Globes didn't touch that.
Wow, that's a good point.
Lady Gaga, so don't give them too much credit.
Well, Lady Gaga, I feel like if you put those up side by side, most critics and audiences are going to say, yeah, give that to Lady Gaga for Hotel before you give it to Nicole Kidman for Grace of Monaco. So there's that. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the Globe categories are such toss-ups. There's nothing in here other than the past winners who you already mentioned got dropped out. Who I'd say is a huge shock was snubbed. I mean, Downton Abbey has been nominated consistently, and they were snubbed for Best Drama Series this year. Which is kind of a big deal, but I mean that show has been on the wane, and it's ending. This coming season, so I guess that's not too surprising.
And we have to talk about Outlander. Outlander has 3 nominations. That's tied for the most. I think there's 6 shows with 3.
Yeah.
But the fact that Sam didn't get in is a huge snub, because I thought he would get in before the show, that he would get in before Katrina and before Tobias. So the fact that he's out and they're all in, it's absolutely insane.
It's probably just a function of the different competition. I mean, although Tobias getting in supporting, I mean, obviously that's such a crowded field because it's comedies, dramas, movies, and miniseries. But I guess the field for Best Drama Actor was a lot more crowded than Drama Actress, at least in terms of their voting.
Well, I think one thing we wanted to talk about today, this won't be a really long chat, but we figured out a couple of years ago a pattern with the Globe. If you were going in to do your predictions on winners, on the acting side, if generally, it's like 80% of the time, if that performer that you're considering doesn't have their program nominated, they're generally not going to win. So somebody like Aziz Ansari, who I did predict would get in, but I also predicted his show was going to get in, I'm now going to move him down my predictions because I don't think the reason is this is a very small group of voters. It's under 100. So you can honestly tell the passion that they have for a particular show by the number of nominations that it gets. So that's why we were saying Game of Thrones. If it couldn't get any actors in, it's going to be really hard to win for your program. Same goes the opposite way. And that's how I knew a couple of years ago, after all those years and all those losses and all those award shows, when Amy Poehler was nominated again at the Globes, and for the first time ever, Parks was up for comedy series, I said, oh, here we go. Amy's going to win this year. And nobody believed me. And then slowly over like that month, everybody started jumping on that train. And that's why I say Julia Louis-Dreyfus is going to win for Veep, because Veep has never been nominated for comedy series before. Right. She's never won for Veep at the Globes. They're lining things up so they can give Julia a makeup award here.
Right.
I think she's got that.
And this pattern that I think you're the first one to notice it, or at least you're the one that brought it up, I should say, in a Slugfest. It played out perfectly last year because we all thought, Viola might win, but her show wasn't nominated. How to Get Away with Murder was not nominated. So they went with Ruth Wilson, whose show The Affair was nominated. And then on the comedy side, it was Jeffrey Tambor winning and Transparent. So with that in mind, I'm actually making...
Gina Rodriguez won last year.
And her show was nominated.
Her show was also nominated. It's not nominated this year.
And,
right.
and the only time that pattern missed last year, the only acting winner whose show didn't have a corresponding nomination in the top category was actually Maggie Gyllenhaal, who won for The Honorable Woman, and that wasn't nominated for Best Miniseries. Of all the acting categories, for it to not line up that way once, it's a pretty strong indicator that you should predict someone whose show is nominated for Best Program.
For the same exact numbers the year before as well.
And so
one person won from a non. I think it was John. Was Ray Donovan? It might be John Voight.
Right. And there's 6 comedies nominated this year. 3 of them don't have any acting nominations. That's Silicon Valley, Casual, and just those 2. The other 4 all have nominations. So does that mean those 2 can't win, or it'll just be a lot tougher for those 2 shows to win? I'm actually doing something...
I think it makes it really hard.
I'm doing something really crazy. I'm predicting a show to win that I'd never heard of before today. It's called Mozart in the Jungle, and the reason is because the star of that is Gael Garcia Bernal, and he is... He's a past Globe winner, or at least a Globe nominee. He's one of their favorites, and he's also foreign-born, and I'm matching up those 2. So I think he's going to win actor, and the show's going to win Best Comedy.
That's certainly possible. I'm playing it safe for now. I might switch over to Mozart in the Jungle and Gael Garcia Bernal, but I sort of like, they don't often go back and reward someone twice, but occasionally they do. I think they did Hugh Laurie. They did Claire Danes for Homeland. And I think that might happen with Transparent this year, because not only did they bring back Jeffrey Tambor and the show, they brought in Judith Light this year. So it's even stronger than it was last year, and it's coming off of the big its big Emmy wins for Tambor and for directing, I believe. It seems like they're lining it up for that show, or at least for Tambor again, or maybe even I can actually see Gael Garcia Bernal winning before I see Mozart in the Jungle winning best comedy. I'm not sure it'll win both.
You've got,
in case people are wondering, that show is streaming December 30th. Daniel figured out. So even though we haven't seen it, the public hasn't seen it, they send out screeners to these Globe voters, so that's how they were able to nominate it, even though it hasn't aired yet.
The first season.
Most voters have seen it. Well, that's the case with a lot of these movies. They go, weeks or months before they actually hit, for the mass public. I was noticing here on the 6 comedies when you said streaming, 4 out of the 6 are streaming shows. Could you have ever imagined that a couple of years ago? And then the other 2 are HBO.
Wow.
So there's not even basic cable represented here. It's all premium and streaming. You have to pay to watch every single one of these nominees.
Mm-hmm.
Unless, actually, does Casual, can you just watch that on Hulu, or do you have to have the Hulu subscription?
I've got the subscription, so I don't know. I don't know if you have to have it or not.
And on the drama side, it's only Empire. So Empire represents all of broadcast television.
I think on these comedies, just to finish up these categories, the only two I could imagine winning, just based on the lay of the land here, are Mozart, and Transparent. They may have put Veep in here, but I think they did that to give Julia the award. Silicon Valley has nothing else. Orange is kind of on the downswing, and Casual got nothing else. So I think it's got to be one of those two, and that's both Amazon. So Amazon wins either way. I think you're right, Daniel. I think you're on the right path here. I don't know if I put Gael first or not, but now that I'm looking, I mean, Patrick Stewart doesn't have. Well, 3 out of the 5 actors don't have their shows up. It's these same 2 Amazon. I could see Bernal winning actor and then Transparent winning series. The other thing about Transparent is they were the first, like they like to be, to put it on the map. So for them to be able to, to put it on the map last year, and Jeffrey, and then SAG didn't even nominate it. I mean, they had to be feeling good about themselves. So that may make them want to revisit that particular win. And then I think Julia wins actress. I really, really do.
Yeah, I think Julia wins actress. The thing about Orange, it is on the downswing, but Uzo has never won a Globe, and she's back again. She's the only star nominated. I think she could win the Globe if we're going to talk about the supporting.
Let's do supporting, sure.
I think it's between her and Regina King. Last year's winner, Joanne Frage, it's a surprise she's even back because the Globes love kicking out the past winners. But I think it's between them. But then again, what is Maura Tierney doing here? They clearly didn't like this season. I'm talking about Globes voters, not people like us, because they kicked out of show. They kicked it out of drama actor and drama actress. So how did she get in?
It's really weird. They nominated one of the few things about the show that they didn't nominate last year, and they kicked out everything else. It
reminds me a lot of The Good Wife.
Yeah, it's only
every year they'll pick out the previous year's nominees and then put somebody in that they haven't nominated before.
Yeah, that's. I remember that happened with Archie Panjabi. I think one year it was like the 3rd or 4th or 5th year of The Good Wife, and she gets in all of a sudden.
Right, so all of a sudden, yeah. I don't know. I think you could safely say Tierney and Froggatt are out because their shows aren't nominated, but the other 3 are. Regina King plays such an international character and just won the Emmy, but Uzo just won the Emmy. Judith Light's got a big, Broadway background and a TV background.
And the Globes, they don't want to be the only award show not to give Uzo something. Like with Bryan Cranston, they were the only ones not to have rewarded him, so they finally did it on the last go-around. That's why I'm thinking more and more toward Uzo for this. Plus, The Wiz just aired.
Well,
it's
we
not
need to ask
nominated,
Ralph, because Ralph has picked every win.
Yeah.
And he didn't pick her last year at the Globes, and I did. So we need to definitely ask Ralph, one of our contributors. What about supporting actor? That one to me is tough. That one, 1, 2, 3 out of the 5 again have programs nominated.
This one's easy for me. This is Christian Slater's.
I'm not so sure. I mean, because at the moment I'm predicting it for drama series and drama actor, although tentatively, I might actually go with Outlander. We can talk more about that a little later. But I don't know that I'm pretty confident about Rami Malek winning. I'm not sure they're going to give it both. Again, this is a small group, and I don't know. They liked Damian Lewis. They awarded him for Homeland. They clearly loved Outlander for Tobias Menzies to even have gotten in here. So I'm not sure. I'm sort of torn there.
You'd be shocked at the one I put in first, and that may change, but we're going to have a whole month here. But I put Tobias in first, and it goes back to another theory I've had. Well, one, he fits the theory of the program being nominated. But secondly, whenever on any show, whether it's Emmys, Tonys, Oscars, well, not Oscars, we know all those by then, but Globes, when you see somebody get in that you really don't even know much about, and they've really reached to put that person in, often there's a reason. There's something going on that we don't know the underlying, reasons why. But and here's a category where you've got drama and comedy and movies and limited series. It makes me feel like that they really like him for some reason, and that he might have this win.
It's sort of like Emily Blunt in Gideon's Daughter, I think, a few years ago, and that was before she was really a huge name. I think Devil Wears Prada was just starting to sort of break her out, and she won the Golden Globe though for TV supporting actress for Gideon's Daughter.
Well, and in this case, it's not one of those. They do like to cover their bases in terms of making sure all the studios get nominations and all the networks and stuff. They had already rewarded Outlander with a lead actress and the series, so it wasn't like they felt like, oh, let's throw stars a bone here. Plus, they had the Flesh and Bone. Speaking of bones, the limited series. So, I mean, for them to pick him out of all the people on television, we didn't even have him in our prediction center. I feel like there's something going on there, and I'm on them more than likely.
The reason I thought Christian Slater was so obvious as a winning choice is because he's the most famous of those five. He's a movie star turned TV star, and I just think Mr. Robot is going to sweep. I have it winning that, and for Rami for actor, and for drama series as well. Which
is also a reason they don't often do that, though. I mean, it doesn't happen often, and if they feel like, and we're going to get to drama next, but if they feel like Rami and let's just throw in the show inside the show is going to win too, they may think, okay, we've got USA covered. We've got, let's make sure Stars get something here, or let's make sure, PBS and BBC with Damian Lewis get something. I mean, I don't know. We don't know, and I've made that mistake before sometimes where I do cover all my bases with everybody, but then I pick the wrong bases. Okay, we're going to give Star something, but over here, not over there.
It is rare for the sweeps, but Homeland did it, and the X-Files did it, so it is possible. I mean, this show doesn't have a lead actress, so they're going to have to go to a supporting person to do a sweep.
Right. Well, they've been following Christian Slater since he was like 15 or 16 years old, so that's their kind of guy. I definitely think he's got a shot.
What about, do you guys agree that Mr. Robot is going to win? A lot of our users are thinking Empire.
Yeah, let's go back to drama.
I don't think it'll be Empire. I feel like, Outlander overperformed by getting Tobias Menzies in, and Mr. Robot overperformed by getting Christian Slater in. Empire, you could actually consider it having underperformed because it didn't get Terrence Howard in. So that's a case where I would be more confident about it if it had gotten another acting nomination, but it just.
I'm going to tell you the show, and I told Marcus this the other night. We were at a party and we were talking about our Globe picks. I said, the show I've heard the most from foreign press was Narcos, and sure enough, it got into drama series and for the. I said, I've never really even heard of this actor before, and we were talking. I said, I've got them both in my predictions though, and sure enough, here they are. And I don't think it really had any other shot, so I don't think you could say it overperformed or underperformed. But
and you told me you were kicking out Kevin Spacey. I said, "Oh, you're crazy." I guess not.
Yeah, I think Rami's got his award. I'm trying to think strategically here. I think Rami's got his award locked up. So right. I don't think they're giving the lead actor from Narcos, however you say his name, that award. So I could see them going Rami there and then Narcos for drama series. And they're going to give Netflix something. And let's just say Uzo's not it. I don't see where else Netflix is winning.
Yeah, that's true. Because I think
under TV, maybe on the film side with Idris Elba, but they're going to win something.
Robin Wright's not winning again.
Yeah, Robin Wright's not winning again.
No.
Yeah, I'm worried about Outlander for Best Drama Series. The fact that it overperformed by getting Tobias Menzies in, that could be the bone they throw it. To Stars. That could be. It could lose both the acting categories. It could Taraji could take drama actress, and then someone else we discussed could take Christian Slater or someone else could take a supporting actor. And Outlander. This is where because it sort of matches that. The Affair kind of thing, where it's not the show that everyone is talking about except for a pocket of fans of Gold Derby who it's the only thing they talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden it just wins. So I actually think the lead actress Katrina is right up there too with Taraji. I'm not so confident about Taraji there.
It's a 50-50, isn't it? Because the other three don't have programs nominated.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's
And
hard to know which one they'll like more and which way they would rather spread the wealth. It's really the calculus is really complicated on some of these.
the
The other
producers
thought that, go ahead, Marcus. I'm sorry.
the producers of the Golden Globes, they would be, you know, ridiculously silly to not invite Sam to the ceremony to present something. He's such a big star. He got snubbed, but he needs to be on that stage with, well, he'll be there because the show's nominated, so he
Right,
needs to
right.
present with Katrina and Tobias.
Well, our social media world will love that.
Yeah.
The other thing to think about, though, and this is the one category where I'm really considering it more than the others, we just said the pattern is this program nomination thing, all but one, though. All but one. So if you say, okay, that's the pattern, where's the one? I'm wondering Viola Davis now
Yeah.
because they do like to, they don't like to be embarrassed either. They don't like to be so behind the times. And with her now getting the SAG and the Emmy back to back, do they play a little catch up there with her?
And they didn't award her for The Help either. I think Meryl got that the year.
Right.
Meryl did win for that. That's right.
And if they're watching How to Get Away with Murder, she was even better this season than last season. So
well, and I wouldn't say that show underperformed. When you look at something like Robin Wright, you go, well, where's House of Cards and series? We know they I put it there before. Nobody's has predicted How to Get Away with Murder to get into a drama series, so you can't say it underperformed.
Right.
Well, but I think it's like we've said before. When they want to play catch up with someone, they'll do it. Like when they did it with Parks and Recreation, they just did it with Veep.
Or maybe on Veep this year. I know you're right, but I just don't.
I'm not ruling her out, but I really think the
Is
show.
there anybody else that could win? Maybe a John Hamm. I'm trying to find that one person that's going to win without the program nomination.
I think if we see that happen, it might be in the long form categories again. I could see Queen Latifah doing it for best.
Oh, that's a good point. But then
Well,
again,
at the moment, I do have her in first because she's never won a Globe. She's won at SAG, I think, twice. She now has an Emmy through producing Bessie. So
I think they want Lady Gaga on
that
this.
may be the one. Let's just finish up then. Is there any you want to talk about movies and minis then?
Yeah, I'm going with Lady Gaga. Currently I'm going with Mark Rylance.
No. Her reward. They just wanted her on the red carpet. They weren't giving her the award.
I'm going with Mark Rylance, and then I'm going with Fargo.
I'm torn between Rylance and Patrick Wilson. I think I'm predicting Patrick Wilson at the moment, although they might give it to Rylance just because, if they don't give it to him for film, they might give it to him here. Although they don't mind shutting people out. People have lost twice in one night.
Right.
So I think
On
I'm going.
a rare occasion, they've won twice on a night.
Mm-hmm.
Kate Winslet in film.
Helen Mirren did it, film and TV.
Right.
If Show Me a Hero was nominated for a movie mini, I would be predicting Oscar Isaac, but maybe he's the one.
He could be the Maggie Gyllenhaal because it was the same sort of situation where Maggie Gyllenhaal's movie was released later that year, that summer, and she hadn't been in the Emmy cycle yet, just like Show Me a Hero is, and she gets a nomination. The program doesn't. He gets a nomination. His program doesn't. That could be the one potentially.
Also, David Oyelowo could be the one.
My favorite performance.
Somebody they put in last year. They were one of the few. I mean, not one of the few, but he gets in at the Globes, but he doesn't get in at the Oscars. So, they kind of have to feel some pride with that.
Wow.
That one is a weird category. I'm not with you on Mark Rylance. I think his lack of congeniality about the whole awards process, it doesn't hurt him on Broadway, but I just don't think it's going to help him with a group like this that's all about glad handing and parties and you telling me you really want the award. I don't think he could do that.
I just made a switch to David Oyelowo. The fact that he was in last year for Selma, and remember Matt Bomer won last year the Golden Globe when after losing the Emmy, everyone thought he would win the Emmy for The Normal Heart, and then the Globe said, well, we liked you. I think that's going to happen maybe with David, because everyone was predicting him at the Emmys, at least I was, and he lost. So the Globes might rectify that.
See, I feel like, part of me wants to be strategic, and like I want to sort of pick the one where they'll go away from the pattern. But I feel like, okay, if I just go with the pattern from top to bottom, I'll just be resigned to getting one wrong,
Yeah.
and
Right.
they can pick whichever one it is. The Golden Globes can just have their way with it, and I'll just get everything else right. Although everything else, it's still sort of a toss-up, some of them between 2 or 3 contenders.
Well, that's the way some people feel about the Oscars coming up with Rooney Mara. I'm one of the few that doesn't want to pick her twice, because that means for absolute certain I could only get 19 acting nominations right if I've got her in both. So I'm hedging my bets a little and putting her only in lead. So I don't know if I could do that, Daniel. I really want to be the one to go, skip across and pick the one where it didn't match up. I will say on the actress side, do not in this world sleep on Kirsten Dunst. She's one they've been following since she was like 10 years old and was nominated, I think, one of you could check me on this, for Interview with a Vampire when she's like 12 or 13. So this is somebody they watched grow up, and Margot's nominated, and she's very good at it. The other one, this Flesh and Bone, they must really, really like. So even though we don't know who this Sarah Hay is very much, they certainly seem to.
But we thought last year that they
might
might
not get that.
We thought last year that they might throw a bone to The Missing, and they didn't end up doing that. So I'm not so sure Flesh and Bone will win either of its categories. And they have other opportunities to reward stars this year.
Right. That may be the way they go on the Outlander side. Well, listen, everybody jump into the Prediction Center. You can pick all of the Golden Globe, TV and film, SAG TV and film, of course, Oscar nominations. And we've got a few other things we've just added, so make sure you go in there, and you can win a $100 Amazon gift certificate for any particular award show if you get the best score. And on Oscars, we have the top 3 scores: $500, $300, and $200. So get in there right now and make your predictions. You can keep changing them all the way up until just an hour or 2 before each ceremony. So thanks a lot. See you soon.